We have ordinances under final reading. Madam Clerk, item A.
An ordinance closing and abandoning an unopened right-of-way in the 600 block of 9 Circle is detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Henderson.
Move approval.
Second.
Any motion properly second, any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Ordinance on the first reading, Madam Clerk, item A.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 2, Section 2566B, disposal of surplus real property.
Motion properly second, any comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Plan item B.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 1133 and 1137 Old Pineville Road from R1 residential zone to R3 residential zone.
Is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the item that I spoke of earlier today. If I'm doing my math right, I believe our next planning and zoning day will be the 12th of December. So I would like to defer this item, and we will address it on the 12th if this council so chooses to defer that long. But I move that we defer this item until December the 12th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item C.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone part of a property located at 6010 Dayton Boulevard from R1 residential zone to R4 special zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? I see an applicant, any opposition present? Okay, Councilman Henderson.
I have heard no opposition to this case. I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item D.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 506 and 508 Ashland Terrace from R1 residential zone to C2 convenience commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
Okay, is there applicant present? Okay, any opposition present? Okay, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have had no opposition and believe this is appropriate. I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item E.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 1001 Market Street from DCX 12 to DCX 20.
All right, Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This being in your district with no objection, move to approve.
Second.
All right, thank you so much, Councilman Ledford. Councilman Smith. Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item F.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone unaddressed property located in the 2600 block of East Main Street from C2 Convenience Commercial Zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone, subject to certain conditions.
Okay, is there an applicant present? Okay, I see an applicant. Any opposition present? All right, this is in District 9. Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item G.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 2425 12th Avenue from R2 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone.
All right, is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? This is in District 9. Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item H.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Article 2, definitions, Article 16, downtown form-based code, Division 1, introductory provisions to add a new form-based code context area and associated form-based code zones, Section 38692, legal requirements, Section 38693, context areas, Section 38694, zones, amend Division 3, rules of all zones, Section 38,697, lot types, Section 38,698, measurement and exceptions, and add new context areas, Division 16, Chestnut Street and associated zones.
All right, Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item I, planning version 2.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located at 2800 Broad Street and an unaddressed property located in the 2800 block of Broad Street, 2450, 2500, 2501, and 2701 Chestnut Street, two unaddressed properties in the 17800 blocks of I-24, 1506 Middle Street, 2655, and 2673 Sydney Street, two unaddressed properties in the 3000 and 3100 blocks of St. Elmo Avenue and 500 West 26th Street, from M1 Manufacturing Zone and UGC Urban General Commercial Zone to CCX9, CCIV, CCX12, and CPK New Zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? All right, hey. Any opposition present? All right. Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to ensure with the city attorney that the conditions you added last week were made into this ordinance.
Yes, sir. There are 5 conditions to this property on here, and it does include a structured parking setback with a 0 minimum as well.
Very
So
good.
that's all the changes.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no other opposition, Madam Chair, this is in your district. I will move to approve. Second.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. If there's no objection from council, under resolutions, we'll take items A and B as a group. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Item A, a resolution authorizing the mayor, his designee, to enter into a contract for sale and purchase with Marathon Realty Corp. and substantially the form attached for the purchase of approximately 1.94 acres of tax map number 129HJ001 at 4536 Highway 58 for the purpose of regional stormwater improvements and flood mitigation, and to execute all documents required to complete the transaction at the purchase price of $380,000 with closing expenses not to exceed $5,000 for a total transaction amount not to exceed $385,000. Item B, a resolution authorizing the mayor, his designee, to enter into a second amendment to donation agreement with the Ames Center, Inc., and substantially the form attached to confirm the satisfaction of the financing requirement and to extend the completion date of the project to December 31, 2026.
Okay, I have a motion and proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item C.
A resolution requesting permission for de-accession of luminous light mast located on the pier at Ross's Landing based on the Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy Public Art Commission staff, city risk management, and city engineers' recommendations of removal with the determination based on the review of the original design criteria and the design load is less than would be expected for design to current standards with a projected cost for current standards projected around $200,000 plus where removal is recommended.
All right, council, you've heard the reading.
Move to approve.
It's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, item D.
A resolution approving a special exceptions permit for a residential plan unit development for part of an unaddressed property in the 6600 block of Middle Valley Road, subject to certain conditions.
All right, you've heard, I'm sorry, Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Rennick, can you confirm the conditions that are on this for the record, please?
Yes, there are 2 conditions for this rezoning on the ordinance: no commercial uses and no driveway or roadway access to Shelby Circle.
Perfect. And then, Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I may have interrupted before you had a chance to ask about applicant in opposition.
All right, is there applicant present? See the applicant, any opposition present? Okay, Councilman Smith.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, council, if there is no objection, or if there's any items you want pulled out, we can take items E through H as a group. All right, Madam Clerk.
Item E, a resolution authorizing the mayor to submit such brownfield voluntary agreement application to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, TDEC, in substantially the form attached, and if approved, to enter into such brownfield voluntary agreements and notice of land use restrictions for certain portions of the former volunteer Army ammunition plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and authorizing the mayor to sign any TDEC applications, TDEC agreements, and TDEC required land use restrictions necessary to implement this resolution. Item F, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to renew the continuing professional services on-call blanket contract for architectural services, contract number E22026101 with the following 7 consultant firms. 1, Allen and Culshall, Inc., 2, Architect Design Group, Inc., 3, Dirt Thick, Henley and Wilkerson Architects, PLLC, 4, Franklin Associates Architects, Inc., 5, Hefferland Cronenberg Architects, PLLC, 6, MBI Companies, Inc., and 7, Reardon Carroll Architects, Inc., for year 2 of a 4-year term for use by all departments for an annual amount of $2.3 million. Item G, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to renew the continuing professional services on-call blanket contract for structural engineering services, contract number E2202701 with the following 6 consulting firms. 1, Alfred Benesh and Company, 2, Allen and Culshall, Inc., 3, CTI Engineers, Inc., 4, Neil Schaefer, Inc., 5, Santec Consulting Services, Inc., and 6, Volker, Inc., for year 2 of a 4-year term for use by all departments for an annual amount of $2.5 million. Item H, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to renew the continuing professional services on-call blanket contract for mechanical, electrical, plumbing, MEP engineering services, contract number E2202801 with the following 2 consulting firms. 1, Allen and Culshall, Inc., and 2, March Adams and Associates for year 2 of a 4-year term for use by all departments for an annual amount of $1 million.
All right, Councilman Hester.
Move to approve.
All right, have a motion and proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. There's no objection from council. We will take items I and J as a group. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Item I, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Wastewater to renew the on-call blanket contract number W220060201 sanitary sewer install and repair blanket contract for wastewater for year 2 of 4 with Talley Construction Company in Rossville, Georgia, for use by all departments for the annual amount of $4.5 million. Item J, a resolution to amend resolution number 27155 to authorize the mayor, city attorney, and/or their designee to amend the consent decree entered into with the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the state of Tennessee to extend certain deadlines in the consent decree and perform additional sewer projects along with other minor modifications as per the attached amended agreement for first material consent decree modification.
Move to approve.
Okay, I have a motion and proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. We've come to purchases. For the purchase.
Good evening, council. We have one purchase recommended for approval, and it is from Human Resources. An RFP was conducted for on-site pharmacy services. On-site RX has been selected as the award recommendation for this RFP as the best overall proposal for the city of Chattanooga. This will be a 4-year contract, not to exceed $10,200,000 per year for a total spend of $40,800,000.
All right, council, you've heard the purchase.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been motion and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we've reached committee reports. We'll start with Councilman Henderson. Okay, Councilman Smith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our next meeting in 2 weeks from now, we will have a legislative committee meeting to discuss a piece of legislation being brought forward regarding, I guess, there's just scooters, not scooters, but skates, right? Skateboards.
Multimodal.
Multimodal around the city. Thank you. Or in the downtown.
All right, Councilman, I'm sorry, Councilman Smith, that was, Yeah, okay, Councilman Ledford?
No report, Madam Chair.
Okay, Councilman Hester?
We did meet today, we'll meet again in 2 weeks.
All right, Councilwoman Coonrod?
Thank you, Chair. Today we had an HR committee about marathon and one-to-one. And then also, weeks ago, probably about a month or so ago, we voted as a council to move forward with the research proposal for, Dr. Baldwin to perform that research. And so I'm asking today that Bill, our city attorney, draft the MOU so we can send to them so we can get started on research.
All right, thank you so much, Councilwoman Coonrod. You got it, Bill?
Got it.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next time we meet, which will be, I believe, on 11/28, we will have a brief meeting of the Affordable Housing Committee to discuss the potential for a pilot for an approved LIHTC project.
All right, thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. And we do have, on the other business, finance report obligation, on debt obligation. Ms. Vicky?
Thank you very much. I have to present a report on debt obligation in compliance with state law. The face amount of this debt is $20 million at an interest rate of 2.6% for 20 years. This loan is part of the Tennessee Revolving Loan Program and will be used 100% for the II Correction Wet Weather Storage Phase 6 at Moccasin Bend. There are no issue costs associated with this, but there is an annual administrative fee that's paid to the Tennessee Local Development Authority. That's it.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions? All right.
2.6.
100%.
Yeah, I know.
Good rate. Yes, all right, that's it. Thank you, Vicky. All right, and as a reminder, we will not meet next Tuesday, November 21st, so that we all can celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. We've come now to persons wishing to address the council. If you would like to address the council, please line up behind this podium, and while our city attorney reads the rules.
Yes, ma'am. At the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council, and here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone up front for that purpose. Can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not upon matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. Don't engage in any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address the council as a whole and not make comments directed towards individual council members. And lastly, do not engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited under Tennessee law, and someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, sir. Give us your name, too, I think.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
John, District 9, Duncan Avenue. Good to see all of you in here today. It's been a while. You may not have known, but I was out of town for the last 8 months, and I was traveling on what is my side research quest to other cities, studying what makes a great city. And I was super excited to return to Tennessee, both because the view coming into Nashville and the fall colors were absolutely astounding. I was, however, disappointed at some of the first news that I was met with locally upon my return, specifically in regards to the changing times of public comment. I've emailed a few of you who it pertains to, both my representative, chair and vice chair, and I want to share why I think that this is so important. First and foremost, showing up today at 3:30, I thought the time was already in effect, not knowing that dates that were posted would still be respected, which means that I've been here since 3:30, even though I have a second job. And I'm extremely privileged in this manner because I myself am a contractor and can adjust my schedule to do this. But 96% of the people that y'all work so hard to represent can't show up under these sort of conditions. And if you champion the voice of those people, I think we should respect the 6 p.m. time and the consistency, because the lack of clarity that is communicated with a 3:30 meeting, a recess, and then a meeting again is very confusing. So right now, you might have your car at a body shop being taken care of someone who cannot come and speak to this comment. You might have a landscaper that picked up leaves that doesn't have the ability to come here. The blue-collared workers of Chattanooga, the underrepresented and marginalized, the people that are holding up a good portion of our economy and are on a razor's edge of falling off a cliff, are not able to show up and give public comment. You will see a lot of people who look like me. I work in the tech industry. I'm a contractor. But you won't see a lot of people who don't look like me, who need to be here today speaking on things that address their quality of life and their potential. I don't know who is here, who voted on it, and who didn't vote on it. And I know that we are in a trial period. And I know that this actually might make some people's lives a lot easier. But a lot of our problems that we have in our city, infrastructure, crime rate, came as a result of some people making the easier decision. I don't think that the easier decision in this case is the right decision, and that the harder decision will make things more nuanced, more challenging. But I do think that there should be a plurality of faces and a diversity of opinions that show up, and keeping the precedents at 6 o'clock will allow for that. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. I'm Janet Persons. I was here 3 weeks ago about the excessive speeding on Astor Avenue in Lookout Valley. I met with the chief, my other two neighbors, met with the chief and Jerry Sutton and Kimberly from trafficking, and we talked about some things that could possibly be done, such as a strip to monitoring speeding and traffic on Astor Avenue. Speed limit signs, the blinking speed limit signs was what we love to have, so people are aware of how fast they're going. And they said they would have patrolmen out there. Well, I went to the police department on Wednesday and last week because we have not seen any patrols out there. And Miss Sutton called me at Wednesday night and told me that they had a policeman out there that had done a report. They only monitored a 25 to 28 mile speed limit from people. And I said, well, where were they at? If they were at the park going close to Cummins Highway, that's an inaccurate information. Where the speeding is from the daycare center back at the end of Astor and coming back off of Moss Avenue, coming toward Cummins Highway. So we haven't seen any evidence of a patrol on our video cameras. Two of us are monitoring that. And so the excessive speeding is terrible. So Lieutenant Carpenter contacted me on Thursday. He said, we're going to try to get some patrols out there. To date, we haven't seen any still. So anyway, he called me back and he said, can you get us a brief description of the cars that come off of Moss Avenue? So we went and polled and looked and got very brief descriptions, some even the addresses. You're looking at residents from 240 to 252 Moss Avenue that are coming up Astor, which is their right, but obey the law and be respectful of people walking along the road. I had a guy come up to me and was very rude and obnoxious and told me to get off the road, that the road is for cars and vehicles. That's my home. I want my dog. I want to feel safe out there. So the strips nothing's been said about the strips, nothing's been said about the speed limits. We haven't heard from Kimberly. So I would like to see something done. We don't, and Carpenter told me, he said, you can't put any signs up yourself. Trafficking has to do that. So we are still in dire situation of excessive speeding out there on Astor Avenue. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Appreciate the job y'all are doing. I'm very impressed with some of the things that you're saying and doing for the city and county. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Janet. I believe Jermaine's over there. Jermaine, I'm sure, yeah. Been quiet the whole time. Got to give you somebody. So if you can talk to Miss Janet after the meeting, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, Joshua
I'm sorry.
Pellis here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Just a
ma'am.
second. I'm sorry, Councilman Henderson. I apologize.
Chief, that's what I was going to do, is see if you could get with Janet and see if Kim can reach out to her and see what she's been able to find out. Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay, you good, Councilman Henderson?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, go ahead.
All right, thank you for your time. Joshua David Capellish here. I'm a representative for 50 unsheltered veterans in Chattanooga and Hamilton County area. Thank you for all your efforts in the community with the Freedom Homestead Project, the announcement of the mayor, and the cooperation with the county and the state. That's a great thing for all veterans. So, a veteran in Tennessee, a lowly and humble place to be. A veteran home from war, from foreign shores with foreign scars. A homeless veteran in Tennessee, there's no place for me. Even a lowly dog has it better than me. State law says a dog needs a home. A homeless veteran can't even get a bone. Surely not a home, not yet. Empty words, hollow hearts, a horrible sin to make the warrior suffer again, killing them softly with your soft smile, out in the cold all this while. Piles of garbage and filth, welcome home, but that home is certainly not here or anywhere. Every year and tear I shed, it seems another veteran is dead. Rates of suicide become like ocean's tide, never ceasing and increasing as they die. In Chattanooga, a homeless veteran has no rank, a simple statistic that comes to sink. A stink unbearable as the breath of hot air coming like derriere. In effect, some really don't care. Nowhere a home, nowhere a bone. The filthy 50 veterans in Chattanooga right now with no home and no bone. And so I stand here with you. I have a home, a tiny home, and a big bone to pick from my little dog. How can you profit from our pain? There he is, the homeless veteran, again. Weeping along, only sad songs, glory foregone, the saddest song. By God's grace, we will find a place for the 50 filthy veterans, a pretty politician's perfect disgrace. Disgusted, a mistrust beyond measure, we filthy 50 veterans for your profiting pleasure. As some people grandstand to say we have grand plans, while veterans put their boots on the ground, and as it stands, there's still no shelter to be found. So take my sorrows as you might, because as you sleep tonight, the filthy 50 veterans are not all right. Thank you for the Freedom Homestead, but we still need to help the 50 veterans now before they're all dead. So with our boots on the ground, we're tired of getting the runaround. This is a grassroots effort in the volunteer state, and I think we can work together. I spoke to the mayor Saturday, and I think we're all on board for a lot of the good things that are coming. And, you know, we can't be afraid of having too good of a homeless veteran project to attract more veterans from afar. We need to lead the country in this, but I think we can do it. Y'all are really smart, and you care a whole lot, and we've got everything together to do that. And thank you for your effort. Thank you for your time.
Greetings, Mr. Bell.
It's always a great evening, Madam Chair. Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, the man with the billion-dollar voice. This is my new location, and I mean it. 17 years of Richard Beelan. That's what I want to talk about tonight. I was asked here during the recess, Monty, where do you go for warmth, and shelter, and safety? My response was, there's no such place in this city. No such place. I'm still nursing a broken finger and 2 dislocated shoulders because you all wouldn't come and remove the thugs out my encampment where your mayor put a hit out on me. We'd still be in that encampment if they didn't see Monty Bell don't play this mess. I don't like this homosexual stuff that you all are putting down on us. I don't like being out here for the last 22 years on these streets. The only reason I came back is because you all stole from me. There's a hat called the fedora that's gonna crush this city that you all stole from me. That was given to me by a friend that has a $50 million yacht with her name on it. I want that hat. I want my life back. And if you're not willing to abide by the rules, money's gonna take it back. I've had enough. 17 years of Richard Beelan. When he first came here under Littlefield, he moved the homeless off of 8th Street. My documentary, Footsteps and Frames, Walking Out of Poverty, had him on his front porch saying he doesn't want to see any homeless people when he steps outside of his door. My question then, who asked you to come here? You and your wife. UTC did the worst thing they could do to Monty Bale and then charged me with assaulting a $211 billion, $34 million. You're gonna pay me my money. And I mean it. I mean it wholeheartedly. This black on black crime enforced by whites, I've got a remedy for that. I've had a remedy for it for over 22 years. There's not an attorney in this doggone state can defeat me, Mr. Attorney. And I want you and all of your partners, please, sir, I'm asking you to your face, fraud on the court. Find out what that means. You've done it to me long enough. 211 billion, 34 million for your fraud, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. All right, council. Is he coming up? All right, council, I don't see anyone else wishing to address the council.
I move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.